The Thagomizers are an exotic set of gloves for the Titan class that came with Rise of Iron. Their intrinsic perk gives you a second melee charge as well as granting you the striker-specific perk of Amplify for free. The Amplify perk does not get applied to other subclasses as seen by these screenshots. On the left is Sunbreaker using Thagomizers, and on the right is how much super Amplify gives. Aside from that, these gloves are pretty self-explanatory. Are you a Titan that punches things often? Do you want to have more charges of your melee ability so you can punch stuff harder more often? Then these gloves might be something that you're interested in, especially for PvE. Every single Titan subclass has a relevant build with these gloves. Defender Titans already have access to no backup plans, which are perfect since they help you proc your force barrier. Thagomizers are a cheap replacement effect for those that don't have no backup plans also. For Sunbreakers, these are also a wonderful pairing for those that like to melting point bosses, or even if you prefer the Stoke the Forge talent, then you have a backup melee charge in case you punch something that doesn't die in one hit, or the talent actually bugs out and doesn't grant you your free charge. These are definitely best on Striker Titans though, since it allows you to double dip into melee talents. You can choose between Overload to reduce your melee cooldown, or Discharge to help you get a small explosion around what you hit. Both of them work out really well for general play in PvE. I really enjoyed Discharge for those times where there were multiple enemies. It would basically immediately charge my super, which was hilarious. I really enjoyed pairing these gloves with something like Monte Carlo and a secondary that had Army of One. I also got to focus on punching things a lot more than normal since my loadout was pretty much made to have 100% uptime on my melee charge. It certainly made the monotony of chain running strikes a lot more enjoyable. As far as the raid goes, these are a good option for axes since you'll have more opportunities to get melting points off during damage phases. However, they aren't the best exotic to use if that's your goal, and I'll get into that more in a little bit. For PvP, Thagomizers are another wonderful addition to the exotic lineup for Titans. Again, defenders are going to prefer no backup plans for sure, but Strikers and Sunbreakers can benefit from having these two melee charges. I can't really speak at length about these in PvP, not because I don't play Titan much, but because it's just kind of self-explanatory. These gloves give you two melee charges. Titans like meleeing things. Now you can melee things more often, and for Strikers, you can get two talents with it. Cool. I still prefer the exotics like Twilight Garrison, Dune Marchers, or Armamentarium for PvP since they have such a huge effect on my general play. While having two melee charges is good, it really isn't that amazing once you really look at it. Okay, I do have one big gripe with the Thagomizers. This applies to both PvP and PvE. Titans already have an insurmountable Skullfort exotic, which in my opinion is a straight upgrade to Thagomizers. Why? You respawn with full melee energy regardless of spec. If your goal for PvE is to double melting point things, then you're probably going to be doing the raid, or at least you're going to have a pair of raid gauntlets that give you increased heavy drops while killing Fallen. Skullfort plus the raid gloves is a way better combination than just Thagomizers. In PvP, if you like punching things, then chances are you'll have a long period of time between punchability cooldowns. While you can build your loadout to help mitigate that some, it's a lot easier just to put Skullfort on. You'll respawn with a melee charge and you won't have to worry about possibly gimping your loadout. The Thagomizers, while a really cool looking exotic and wonderful reference to the Far Side comics by Gary Larson, play second fiddle to an insurmountable Skullfort in every sense. If you don't have the Skullfort and want to benefit with double melee charges, then I can totally see why you would use the Thagomizers. Hell, even if you want to just look like a Stegosaurus, then I completely understand as well. But if you like min-maxing your character builds, try and get the Skullfort over these gloves. I hope you found this information helpful, and I'll see you next time.